we had one line that was kind of critical of LA, but we ended up taking it out.
This is not where I belong.
This acting, this is always your dream?
Yeah.
We gotta find a lease, drill it, we gotta make a strike in 30 days. I think with your Harvard smarts, you can help me solve this.
You two keep scheming, and I'll start collecting tips in case I have to bail you out of jail.
Well, I love this little film.
Oh,
Very
nice.
very simple film, very human. I don't think I've seen the film like this easy to watch and easy on the eyes, right? In a while, it just kind of reminds you what's missing.
Thank you.
What did, you're a Texan, is representing Texas in a time where kind of Texas is kind of getting a bad name in other circles, but.
Oh, really? Are we really? Yeah, it's not stopping people from moving here by the thousands.
Right.
From California specifically.
Yeah.
But no, it was a wonderful opportunity to get to shoot in my home state in around Austin, where I've done, this is my third picture, and it's just fun to be, with the film community that I've worked with, and again, but even there's people in Austin that I've worked with on pictures nowhere near Austin. There's a few crew people that I've worked with on stuff in California, New York, whatever. But it was when the script came to me in July of 21, at that time it was called something else, which I thought was bizarre. But I got 10 pages into it. I loved the intro with the movie and with what happens with Erwin's character. I thought it was a great way to jump right into unfortunately, his cold reality. And then he gets to Buffalo Gap and meets, Carrie-Anne's character, my character, other vivid local folks. And the opportunity to play an oil driller is, it's like taking a man out of my childhood 50 years ago. I grew up in South Texas around the oil field, and knew ranchers and farmers and oilmen, and they were typically friends of my dad, and as it happened, a few men that I worked with that were identical to Merle. And so really very easy, not easy for me to visualize the man, but then, I had to fit me into, that character as written. And so, there's always that challenge, but it helped that I had experience in the oil field. I was familiar with the oil industry, and I was able to kind of, I think, authentically step into those boots.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I said that is because, at first when I saw the movie was going to be, it's going to pit big city against small town, but it doesn't. There's no judgment.
No.
This is what I really liked about it. That's why I was kind of talking about, like, it's for us versus them environment right now, right? So this is kind of different in that aspect.
That's exactly, you just nailed it. When he lands in Buffalo Gap, there's no judgment. There's quite the opposite. There's just fascination. It's like, oh, wow, Harvard and Los Angeles. And, we had one line that was kind of critical of LA, but we ended up taking it out. We kind of decided that it really wasn't in Merle's character to say something, humorous, but sort of condescending, about Hollywood weirdos or, whatever it was. And we ended up taking it. Whenever we were in post-production and looking at all the different cuts, and I just said to Mark, I said, I think we could lose that line. I just don't, if we can cut away from me or whatever, or just and lose it. And he was like, yeah, no problem. It's not like it gets a big laugh or anything. It was just something that was laid in. But no, I loved it. And he doesn't judge us. He doesn't. I mean, whenever there's no Wi-Fi in the cafe, he's just like, okay, he's in a different world.
Well, what a sweet little film. I really liked it. It was just so simple. It's
Oh,
like
that's wonderful.
we don't see just simple little films these days, right?
Right, absolutely. That was one of the reasons we wanted to make this movie. And we felt that there was a deficit of just really well-made, endearing, heartfelt films. In trying times, it's good to go to the cinema and leave with a smile on your face. When we were at various film festivals, and online, we've seen so many people that have come up to us that have said, "Thank goodness, for this movie, there's not enough movies like this." I love all types of cinema. From this year, from Zone of Interest, to Oppenheimer, but it's also so refreshing to offer the audience an alternative, which is just a really fun, heartfelt movie. You'll laugh, you'll cry, and like I said, you'll leave with a smile on your face, and hopefully, it puts a little joy in your life.
Yeah, it does, because you forget just the power of storytelling, how simple it can just be. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Just these two people, they're not tortured souls. I mean, granted, I like seeing tortured souls, but not that often, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Um,
we all lead very, very challenging and difficult lives, and I think that's the joy of cinema is sometimes you just need an escape,
yeah.
and go and see these remarkable actors tell this story. And Thomas felt that the movie really harkens back to classic cinema, which meant a lot to me, because I was really looking at It's a Wonderful Life, and so many classic movies for me that were influences for this, and I think that was it resonated with me, and I was hoping that we'd find an audience that would find joy in that as well.
Yeah, Thomas Haden Church is great in it, and him and Rudy Pankow have just like the greatest chemistry right off, right?
Absolutely. They're just remarkable, and we knew that from the very first day of rehearsals, that something special was happening here. And that's it was the biggest, like, I knew both actors were amazing in their own right, but that's one of the things that you just don't know until you finally get them together, is that bond and that chemistry going to spark off. And it happened to be that with our schedule, that the one of the most emotional scenes in the movie was at the end of the film, and that was on our third day of shooting, and it really bonded the two of them. There was a great amount of trust. So from then on, the two of them could really go for it, and they're funny as hell too. So often as a director, I gave them full latitude to go off script and just run with it and have fun with it, and we got gold mine out of that. The scene where they're driving, and Thomas's character is offering him the flask, that we just drove up and down the road, and they were just going for it for like 30 minutes, and it's just some of the funniest takes of the whole film. And ultimately it's your job to choose the funniest of them all, and that was tough. So yeah, it's a remarkable cast, and Robert Altman was right that 90% of directing is casting, and with a cast like this, you can't go wrong. The director and your lead actor. And so thankfully on this, Thomas and I were in lockstep and really formed a great friendship and bond, and no greater gift than Thomas Haden Church on this film.
It gets an audience, and people, the old word of mouth gets out that it's like, hey man, it's a charming movie. It's funny, it's poignant, and hopefully, you leave the theater with a hopeful sort of, experience, a hopeful message.